All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hate to say the words, I told you so, but I told you so. Just came out, according to Fox News, Donald Trump, according to sources that they have inside of the White House, is going to be announcing boots on the ground inside of Iran in order to go out and get the enriched uranium. It's almost like I saw this coming in about 13 minutes now. Donald Trump is supposed to be going live. Got the website actually opened up on the computer, and we're waiting for him to come in. Right now, he is not up yet, but I wanted to come in here a little bit earlier as we are waiting for this to, come through. Hasn't yet came through yet. He should be live, but he tends to be late most of the time. And that's okay, because I've got lots of stuff to cover for you guys, because there has been major signs on the ground over in Afghanistan where those boots on the ground are going to be going. And they're going to be going exactly where I told you they would be going. That's why I've been doing the buildup assessments and everything like that going into it. Now, personally, I don't think that we should be putting them in there. I also don't have the intelligence. We have this like nifty little thing called a B-61 variable yield nuclear bunker buster that would take care of a lot of this stuff. This location that you're looking at is to the south of Isfahan. And it is, as you guys watch these little suckers cook off, I'm going to go over this with you guys. I did a lot, and I mean a lot of research on this thing today, digging through the freaking map. You were not going to believe, number one, how much crap they have here. This is one tiny portion of it. And if you guys are sitting here watching this video, you see a bunch of these little rockets and tiny little ballistic missiles that continue to cook off out of there. And there's a reason for that. I'm going to open up the map here in just a sec and show it to you guys. But this freaking site, stretches probably an easy 20 plus kilometers, right? Where this is at, numerous mountain ranges and ridge lines that sit over there. And it all sits about 15 kilometers away from the Isfahan nuclear facility. Look at those. See those freaking just shooting off out of there? Now imagine all of these munitions that you see burning up at this one strike location. This isn't numerous. This is one strike location. You're about to see why. All of these munitions cooking off that could be shot at our troops once they go into this facility. I told you guys that there's could be upwards of 30,000 IRGC and besieged forces just within this region. And before we go in, I informed you that there is going to be some massive shaping operations that need to take place in order to prepare for those troops to go in. It's just a fact. That's how it's going to end up going down. And we can play more of this video here in just a minute so that you guys can get your frickin' fix. But I do have, like I said, the White House pulled up in the background waiting for them to kind of go live. But before we do that, I want to give you guys a general overview of what it is we're looking at. Like I said, I did some serious research into this thing. And here you have the Isfahan nuclear facility. I've brought this up to you guys before in the past. Let's go ahead and turn that up over to a satellite image so you all can see it just fine. And this is, where the enriched uranium allegedly is stored, right? Over at the Isfahan nuclear facility. And to the north of that, as we go north, right, and we scroll up about 80 kilometers or so, what you actually run into is Pickaxe Mountain and Natanz, okay? But that is the other location where it should be stored. However, all right, Isfahan is allegedly where it's at. And right outside of Isfahan, and I mean literally right outside of Isfahan, look at this. From the middle of this military base to here, we're looking at, let's see here, 18 kilometers. A whole 18 kilometers away from the middle of this. This is the first location we saw get struck the other day. You guys remember this one? Huh? I know I can't be the only one that remembers this site that I showed you guys. Sandwiched in between two ridge lines, you have hundreds of firing positions. But the more I looked at it, not only did you have hundreds of firing positions that were over here, you have storage bunkers for the ammo that's actually built down and into these freaking mountainsides. You guys see that? These are all storage bunkers. So I don't think the United States simply just went off and blew up one or two of these things. No, we went to town on likely all of these storage bunkers that are over here. You see them just stretched into this mountainside. Look at all of those. Look at all of those ammo bunkers that they have there. And it just circles this ridgeline. I mean, it literally circles. Look, all of those are ammo bunkers. All of those you guys see there. This is what we would have wanted to take out. But, that is just one site. Okay. Heck, as a matter of fact, if I zoom out and I look and I stretch it down this way, you guys will get the idea of what it is exactly that we're dealing with here. Oh, come on, work for me. Look at this. Okay, this whole mountain range here that you guys see stretched out across the screen, if I blow it up nice and big for you, this was the initial strike location, it looked like, down up over here. And I did order some new, what do you want to say? I did order some new satellite imagery to try to get that in so that we can get the after strike assessment down here. But as we start to go and stretch across this field, as you start to go down, and it's not even a field, just a giant wadi. They've obviously got hundreds of freaking positions, firing positions that are over there. But as you start to follow this big ridge line to the south down, what you end up discovering is that they have even more firing positions. Look at this crap. They have even more firing positions that are built into this base, and they have even more bunkers for more storage all the way down in here. Look at that. So you're talking a buttload. That initial explosion that I just showed you guys before we started doing it has the same amount of ammunition storage as this one area right here. Okay, now that area, as we get into it, now that area that you guys just saw going off was right down here. Right, this is that area that you guys watched everything going off, and you were watching it from a distance, right? You were watching things cook off in between these two ridge lines, somewhere from over here. No idea, but you were looking this way, watching everything getting cooked off up over in here. Well, here's why. As we get up in and you start paying attention to it, you have numerous ammo bunkers that are built in there. I want to say this site has a total of 9. There's another one in the shade right here, another one right here, another one right here, another one right here. And if I spin you guys around, you're going to see even more that are kind of built into this mountainside, right? There's another one right there, and another one right there. So they have lots of them over in this area. And this is the issue for U.S. troops when we start looking at it, right? Again, those are 3 locations I just showed you. So I showed you guys, let me see here. I showed you guys this location. I showed you guys this one up here first with all of the firing positions and bunkers. Then I showed you this one. Then I showed you this one. And by the way, they've got firing locations outside of it. And keep in mind that if we were to scroll this map this way, you are just 15 kilometers away from the Isfahan site, right? That's way out there. Okay. There she is, Isfahan. All right. So this whole thing is going to cover that. All right. So this is a huge danger to the troops for putting boots on the ground. Now I want you to see this one. This is probably the most insane one that they have. As we are waiting for the White House to come up, they have not came up yet. But this is probably one of the more insane locations that they have. Okay. Let's just check this out for a second here. Now, from where it says ammo bunkers right here, from this pin all the way down to here, and mind you, this is basically November, all right? All of these are freaking ammo bunkers. And this is a massive freaking cave, right? It's going to be distorted because it's satellite imagery, but look at the size of that cave. And they ended up building that sucker up this mountain, and they went in there for a reason. Look at this massive rock face they have going into it, and Lord only knows how deep into that it goes. But that's some pretty solid protection from whatever it is they have in there, all right? Chuck says, I will be your belay monkey if you ever make it out to New River, George. Been climbing it since 98. Hell yeah, dude. I'll be your belay monkey too. Let's see here. Takio, this is going to be a crap show. Why isn't the 10th Mountain Rangers going with the 75th? Not that I want my buddies there, because the 82nd is on the hook along with Mew. And Sky God came in, gifting out 20 Speak the Truth memberships. Jared came in, become a true supporter. Knock Harder became a true supporter. Thank you guys for all doing that. This is the storage location, right? And you have lots of firing positions that are out here. I think people thought I was crazy. I talked about it on the news the other day, what it is that we have to deal with, over in this vicinity, and that we're going to end up having to have these strikes taking place before we go in there. Look at this. Same military installation, all right? And we've got 2 large tunnel entrances right here built into this mountainside, 1 and 2. And then as you kind of, go along this mountainside, you've got 2 additional ones. Now those are huge and they're deep. I have no clue what Iran is putting in there, but what I do know, all right, from when they ended up, starting this sucker, is they had, and again, this is November. I want you to look at all of the trucks that they have going in and out of this location. Look at that. All those trucks moving crap in and out on a random day. digging and then also hauling stuff in and out on a random day. That's deep, man. Those are freaking huge. Let's go ahead and get the map oriented back to the north so you guys can get a good overview of this. And so we look at this area, right? It doesn't do it justice. If I were to measure this out, top to bottom of this whole area, what do we got here? 20 kilometers. It's 20 kilometers long, all right, between one to the other. And it sits right outside of Esfahan, right? And you've got obviously hospitals and mountain ranges and all around it. This looks like a mine. I went over here to try to see if I could find some other stuff that might be of use, but it's just a massive mine. I have no idea what they're doing, but it doesn't look like military operations were in this area. I didn't search it very hard. I just did a cursory search of it. But once you start getting in here, this is where it gets crazy. All those firing positions. Look at all those firing positions, underground storage bunkers, all of that crap, all scattered throughout here. And if our freaking people, if we back it out far enough, all right, our people would be right up over here at the Isfahan nuclear facility. So you picture being on the ground and having that many freaking rockets, missiles, mortars, et cetera, that close to you. When I said they would be sitting ducks, that's what I meant. And Iran has turned this into a massive fortified position. And I think that is exactly why, they are doing what they're doing over there, taking all of that crap out. All right. Looks like the White House has its feet up, although they haven't started coming in. What a biblical beast. No, man, it's not even to the biblical beast portion yet, but it is getting there. Absolutely getting there. It is going to be a fight. That's for dang sure. As Trump's speaking, I'm going to make sure that the ads are delayed for you guys, so you don't have to worry about that garbage. And we're gonna get into it. Just FYI, it is. How do I want to say this? 1 second here. Got to put this out. All right, because one of you guys told me that I got to make sure I put out a post over on Twitter every single time I go live. And I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot to do it. So I want to make sure I got that done for you guys. But we are waiting for Trump to pull up here. That is a freaking nightmare for what we have coming up. And I do want to run a poll out of you guys as we go do this. And I don't know how popular it's going to be quite frank. Operator Error says it could just be the haul off material from digging and not mine. No, sir, that's not it. Those are like defensive fighting positions, if you will, for them to put those different things in there. Because you figure when they have, let me get this back up. Oh, you're saying this could be from all of their digging and not a mine? Yeah, it very well could be. You're talking about this location. I got you on that one. Ghost Hybrid says maybe the president will be talking about the mission to the historic moon that just launched today. Yeah, Artemis 2 ended up taking off and screaming out to the moon. I'm sure he'll say something about it. It's not supposed to land, for those of you that don't know, but it's supposed to go out there. We'll see how she does. Hopefully we don't get embarrassed. And maybe we get some good pictures that put the flat earthers to rest, maybe just for once. I was going to say, if people are questioning why these are built the way that they are, it's so that if one of these gets taken out in an airstrike, that when it blows, it's not blowing up the one next to it. It's just trying to give it a little bit of, blast protection from the other one. That's why they build them that way. It's not really, going to defend from a lot of other stuff, but this is what troops are up against over there. And like I said, estimated, because the city itself, if I was to zoom out and get it back to overhead, the city of Esfahan itself, okay, which rests, where are we at? Right there, has 2.2 million people in it. And here you can see the nuke facility, and there's Esfahan. 2.2 million people estimated to be inside of there as well. And so that's a whole lot of stink. That's a whole lot of freaking people. And there is going to be a heck of a lot that's going in there. Now, they do have the air base. It's to the north. It does have some, Air Force capabilities that are up here. Estimated strength of about like 3,000 people or something like that. But it's not that many. And I got a feeling that this whole thing is like bomb to crap. Last time I scrolled through this base for you guys, yeah, you can see, I want to say it's like F-14s. They're either F-14s or Phantom 2s that are hanging out there. I don't know. I'm not an aircraft aficionado. Maybe some of you guys are, but I got a feeling this whole thing is leveled at this point. But this is what we're up against. This is 100%, what we are dealing with to see, and hopefully, oh, there he comes. All right. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Do we not have volume?
By congratulating the team at NASA and our brave astronauts on the successful launch of Artemis II. It was quite something. It will be traveling further than any manned rocket has ever flown and will very substantially pass the moon, go around it, and come back home from a distance that has never been done before. It's amazing. They are on the way, and God bless them. These are brave people. We want to God bless those 4 unbelievable astronauts. As we speak this evening, it's been just 1 month since the United States military began Operation Epic Fury, targeting the world's #1 state sponsor of terror, Iran. In these past 4 weeks, our armed forces have delivered swift, decisive, overwhelming victories on the battlefield. Victories like few people have ever seen before. Tonight, Iran's Navy is gone. Their Air Force is in ruins. Their leaders, most of them terrorist regime they led, are now dead. Their command and control of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is being decimated as we speak. Their ability to launch missiles and drones is dramatically curtailed, and their weapons factories and rocket launchers are being blown to pieces. Very few of them left. Never in the history of warfare has an enemy suffered such clear and devastating large-scale losses in a matter of weeks. Our enemies are losing in America, as it has been for 5 years under my presidency, is winning, and now winning bigger than ever before. Before discussing this current situation, I also want to thank our troops for the masterful job they did in taking the country of Venezuela in a matter of minutes. That hit was quick, lethal, violent, and respected by everyone all over the world. After rebuilding our military during my first term, we have by far the strongest military anywhere in the world, and now we're working along with Venezuela and are, in a true sense, joint venture partners. We're getting along incredibly well in the production and sale of massive amounts of oil and gas, the second largest reserves on Earth after the United States of America. We're now totally independent of the Middle East, and yet we are there to help. We don't have to be there. We don't need their oil. We don't need anything they have, but we're there to help our allies. Tonight, I want to provide an update on the tremendous progress our warriors have made in Iran and discuss why Operation Epic Fury is necessary for the safety of America and the security of the free world. From the very first day I announced my campaign for president in 2015, I have vowed that I would never allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon. This fanatical regime has been chanting death to America, death to Israel for 47 years. Their proxies were behind the murder of 241 Americans in the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut, the slaughter of hundreds of our service members with roadside bombs. They were involved in the attack on the USS Cole, and they carried out the countless other heinous acts, including the just horrible, bloody atrocities of October 7th in Israel, something that most people have never seen anything like it. This murderous regime also recently killed 45,000 of their own people who were protesting in Iran. 45,000 dead. For these terrorists to have nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat. the most violent and thuggish regime on earth would be free to carry out their campaigns of terror, coercion, conquest, and mass murder from behind a nuclear shield. I will never let that happen, and neither should any of our past presidents. This situation has been going on for 47 years and should have been handled long before I arrived in office. I did many things during my 2 terms in office to stop the quest for nuclear weapons by Iran first, and perhaps most importantly, I killed General Qasem Soleimani in my first term. He was an evil genius, brilliant person, a horrible human being, however, the father of the roadside bomb, and he lived just horrible what he did. Iran would have been perhaps in far better, stronger position. Had he lived, we would have had probably a different conversation tonight. But you know what? We'd still be winning and winning big. And then, very importantly, I terminated Barack Hussein Obama's Iran nuclear deal, a disaster. Obama gave them $1.7 billion in cash, green cash, took it out of banks from Virginia, D.C., and Maryland, all the cash they had. He flew it by airplanes in an attempt to buy their respect and loyalty, but it didn't work. They laughed at our president and went on with their mission to have a nuclear bomb. His Iran deal would have led to a colossal arsenal of massive nuclear weapons for Iran, and they would have had them years ago, and they would have used them. It would have been a different world. There would have been no Middle East and no Israel right now, in my opinion, the opinion of a lot of great experts, had I not terminated that terrible deal. And I was so honored to do it. I was so proud to do it. It was so bad right from the beginning. Essentially, I did what no other president was willing to do. They made mistakes, and I am correcting them. My first preference was always the path of diplomacy, yet the regime continued their relentless quest for nuclear weapons and rejected every attempt at an agreement. For this reason, in June, I ordered a strike on Iran's key nuclear facilities, an Operation Midnight Hammer. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Those beautiful B-2 bombers performed magnificently. We totally obliterated those nuclear sites. The regime then sought to rebuild their nuclear program at a totally different location, making clear they had no intention of abandoning their pursuit of nuclear weapons. They were also rapidly building a vast stockpile of conventional ballistic missiles and would soon have had missiles that could reach the American homeland, Europe, and virtually any other place on Earth. Iran's strategy was so obvious. They wanted to produce as many missiles as possible, and they did, with the longest range possible, and they had some weapons that nobody believed they had. We just learned that out. We took them out, and we took them all out so that no one would really dare stop them. And their race for a nuclear bomb, a nuclear weapon like nobody's ever seen before. They were right at the doorstep. For years, everyone has said that Iran cannot have nuclear weapons, but in the end, those are just words if you're not willing to take action when the time comes. As I stated in my announcement of Operation Epic Fury, our objectives are very simple and clear. We are systematically dismantling the regime's ability to threaten America or project power outside of their borders. That means eliminating Iran's Navy, which is now absolutely destroyed, hurting their Air Force and their missile program at levels never seen before, and annihilating their defense industrial base. We've done all of it. Their Navy is gone. Their Air Force is gone. Their missiles are just about used up or beaten. Taken together, these actions will cripple Iran military, crush their ability to support terrorist proxies, and deny them the ability to build a nuclear bomb. Our armed forces have been extraordinary. There's never been anything like it militarily. Everyone is talking about it, and tonight I'm pleased to say that these core strategic objectives are nearing completion. As we celebrate this progress, we think especially of the 13 American warriors who have laid down their lives in this fight to prevent our children from ever having to face a nuclear Iran. Twice this past month, I have traveled to Dover Air Force Base, and it's been something. I wanted to be with those heroes as they return to American soil, and I was with them and their families, their parents, their wives, their husbands. We salute them, and now we must honor them by completing the mission for which they gave their lives. And every single one of the people, their loved ones said, "Please, sir, please finish the job," every one of them. And we are going to finish the job, and we're going to finish it very fast. We're getting very close. I want to thank our allies in the Middle East, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, Kuwait, and Bahrain. They've been great, and we will not let them get hurt or fail in any way, shape, or form. Many Americans have been concerned to see the recent rise in gasoline prices here at home. This short-term increase has been entirely the result of the Iranian regime launching deranged terror attacks against commercial oil tankers in neighboring countries that have nothing to do with the conflict. This is yet more proof that Iran can never be trusted with nuclear weapons. They will use them, and they will use them quickly. It would lead to decades of extortion, economic pain, and instability worse than we can ever imagine. The United States has never been better prepared economically to confront this threat. You all know that. We built the strongest economy in history. We're going through it right now, the strongest in history. In 1 year, we've taken a dead and crippled country. I hate to say that, but we were a dead and crippled country after the last administration and made it the hottest country anywhere in the world by far, with no inflation, record-setting investments coming into the United States, over $18 trillion, and the highest stock market ever, with 53 all-time record highs in just 1 year. It all positioned us to get rid of a cancer that has long simmered. It's known as the nuclear Iran, and they didn't know what was coming. They've never imagined it. Remember, because of our Drill Baby Drill program, America has plenty of gas. We have so much gas. Under my leadership, we are #1 producer of oil and gas on the planet, without even discussing the millions of barrels that we're getting from Venezuela. Because of the Trump administration's policies, we produce more oil and gas than Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. Think of that, Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. And that number will soon be substantially higher than that. There's no country like us anywhere in the world, and we're in great shape for the future. The United States imports almost no oil through the Hormuz Strait and won't be taking any in the future. We don't need it. We haven't needed it, and we don't need it. We've beaten and completely decimated Iran. They are decimated, both militarily and economically and in every other way. And the countries of the world that do receive oil through the Hormuz Strait must take care of that passage. They must cherish it. They must grab it and cherish it. They can do it easily. We will be helpful, but they should take the lead in protecting the oil that they so desperately depend on. So to those countries that can't get fuel, many of which refuse to get involved in the decapitation of Iran, we had to do it ourselves. I have a suggestion. #1, buy oil from the United States of America. We have plenty. We have so much. And #2, build up some delayed courage. Should have done it before. Should have done it with us, as we asked. Go to the Strait and just take it, protect it, use it for yourselves. Iran has been essentially decimated. The hard part is done, so it should be easy. And in any event, when this conflict is over, the Strait will open up naturally. It'll just open up naturally. They're going to want to be able to sell oil because that's all they have to try and rebuild. It will resume the flowing, and the gas prices will rapidly come back down. Stock prices will rapidly go back up. They haven't come down very much, frankly. They came down a little bit, but they've had some very good days over the last couple of days. We've done actually much better than I thought, but we had to take that little journey to Iran to get rid of this horrible threat. With our historic tax cuts, where people are just now talking about receiving larger refunds than they ever thought possible, they are getting so much more money than they thought. That's from the great, big, beautiful bill. Our economy is strong and improving by the day, and it will soon be roaring back like never before. It will top the levels that it was a month ago. I've made clear from the beginning of Operation Epic Fury that we will continue until our objectives are fully achieved. Thanks to the progress we've made, I can say tonight that we are on track to complete all of America's military objectives shortly, very shortly. We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong. In the meantime, discussions are ongoing. Regime change was not our goal. We never said regime change, but regime change has occurred because of all of their original leaders' death. They're all dead. The new group is less radical and much more reasonable. Yet if during this period of time no deal is made, we have our eyes on key targets. If there is no deal, we are going to hit each and every one of their electric generating plants very hard and probably simultaneously. We have not hit their oil, even though that's the easiest target of all, because it would not give them even a small chance of survival or rebuilding. But we could hit it, and it would be gone, and there's not a thing they could do about it. They have no anti-aircraft equipment. Their radar is 100% annihilated. We are unstoppable as a military force. The nuclear sites that we obliterated with the B-2 bombers have been hit so hard that it would take months to get near the nuclear dust, and we have it under intense satellite surveillance and control. If we see them make a move, even a move for it, we'll hit them with missiles very hard again. We have all the cards, they have none. It's very important that we keep this conflict in perspective. American involvement in World War I lasted 1 year, 7 months, and 5 days. World War II lasted for 3 years, 8 months, and 25 days. The Korean War lasted for 3 years, 1 month, and 2 days. The Vietnam War lasted for 19 years, 5 months, and 29 days. Iraq went on for 8 years, 8 months, and 28 days. We are in this military operation, so powerful, so brilliant, against one of the most powerful countries for 32 days. And the country has been eviscerated and essentially is really no longer a threat. They were the bully of the Middle East, but they're the bully no longer. This is a true investment in your children and your grandchildren's future. The whole world is watching, and they can't leave the power, strength, and brilliance. They just can't believe what they're seeing. They leave it to your imagination, but they can't believe what they're seeing, the brilliance of the United States military. Tonight, every American can look forward to a day when we are finally free from the wickedness of Iranian aggression and the specter of nuclear blackmail. Because of the actions we have taken, we are on the cusp of ending Iran's sinister threat to America and the world. And I'll tell you, the world is watching. And when we do, when it's all over, the United States will be safer, stronger, more prosperous, and greater than it has ever been before. May God bless the men and women of the United States Armed Forces, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much, and good night.
That's it? That's it? Fox News lied? Fox News has bad sources? No frickin' way. You don't say. Gosh dang it, man. Dear God. Well, let's go over what the heck he said, because it's not at all what the heck Fox said it was going to be. First, we've got a whole buttload of super chats that we need to go through. And before we get into the super chats, I got to let you guys know. Go over to the link in the description down below. Enter to win a free 1 year supply. 5 of you guys are going to win a free 1 year supply of Bravo Energy pouches. 50 milligrams of caffeine per pouch, 20 pouches per can. You throw one in your lip and you're energized for life. I freaking love these things. That's if you guys are new to this channel, people talking about boofing these things, sticking them in their booties. Don't do that. Don't. It's not recommended. It's not on the can, and I don't think it's a good idea. All right. It's a joke. It's a troll. People are just playing games. Okay. They're not going to actually boof these things. But the good news is you guys can go over there and you can get you some. BravoEnergyPouches.com. That's right. BravoEnergyPouches.com. You guys can go over there. You could also use code TRUTH. Get yourselves 10% off. Apparently, a lot of you guys like them because I don't know, man. Maybe you guys just need to stop boofing these suckers, but they are freaking delicious. They are great. Anybody, first responder, military, law enforcement, firefighter, even the Coast Guard. I'll even give it to them. Coast Guard, you guys could probably use these suckers too to stay awake out there, going out there and catching these drug runners. DHS, Border Patrol, whoever you are, and you just need to stay your butt awake. These things will do the trick. That I promise you. You ain't falling asleep with one of these in your mouth. Maybe if you're at Ranger School and you're on like day 5. But other than that, I think you're going to be okay. I wouldn't be surprised if they let the freaking Rangers have them now. Tristan Allen, Matt, we're going back to the moon. Let's go. You know, you can say we're going back to the moon, man, but we're going to be going around the moon and coming back. We're not actually landing on the moon. Fox says, speak for yourself, Matt. No, I will not speak for myself on that. Let's just not boof Bravo Energy pouches. Knock Harder, new true supporter. Jaredith, new true supporter. Atakio says this is going to be a crap show. Why isn't the 10th Mountain Rangers going with the 75th? Not that I want my buddies there. Yeah, you know, I'm with you. I totally. You know, I said publicly numerous times we have variable yield nuclear bunker busters and we should use them. Chuck Reichert. I will be your belay monkey if you ever make it out to New River Gorge. Climbing since 98. I might take you up on that, my friend. Celestia Trill, good to see you tonight. What's up? Not a mucho. Thank you for gifting out that membership. Incog Faraday, appreciate the 5 memberships. You guys are just generous tonight. Operator Error says could be all of the haul-off material from digging and not the mine. Yeah, we'll go over that in just a sec. Near Death, been a member, apparently a new member and a member for 25 months. So that's weird, or 26. Ethel. Has Saudi's Crown Prince made a deal with China, turning his back on President Trump and the USA? Not that I'm aware of. No. 502 Outlaw becoming a true supporter again, apparently. Costmark and Fox McCloud coming in with 5 each. Fox says he's on 5 Bravo booths, aka the finger of God. Are you like 3-finger pinching Bravos into your butt, man? Because if that's the case, I have some very serious questions for you. Very serious questions. Bo Williams, boof as in be a man. You know, Bo, if you were a man, you would partner them up and boof both of them. Andreas Northam says, did he announce boots on the ground? I'm late. No, sir. He has not came in. He did not announce those. Looks like bad reporting from Fox again. Bad reporting from mainstream media again. Tom says, sending prayers to our troops. May God watch over and protect them so that they may return safely to their families and loved ones. In the Lord's name, we pray. Amen. And I second that one. Amen. Castle Survival coming in. The damage done will ripple for years on the markets. I'm assuming you mean that, you know, with the oil and gas prices, that type of damage done. Look, dude, I ran the figures on that the other day. The amount of oil that's being held up versus what the U.S. is producing now versus then and all this other crap. Dude, it's all levels out. Like, it's really not that big of a deal. People are blowing this way out of proportion. I can't state that enough. And if it does end up spiking, it's the dang oil companies. I watched this sucker go up. I think it was like $1 the day after we started bombing Iran. I watched the gas station down the street from me go up over $1. Why? Because we bombed Iran? Did the gas in the ground suddenly get more expensive? No. What about the stuff that was on its way that they already ordered and paid for? No. It's greedy people, man. It drives me nuts. Clyde Hartling says, keep speaking the truth, brother. Thank you very much. And my dick's erect came in to gift and I speak the truth membership as well. I think I was able to cover them all. So here's the deal. If you guys didn't know, went over it earlier. Big to-do that's going on right now is these strikes over in Isfahan. Lots of other stuff I could talk about. Lots of other stuff I could go over. But at the end of the day, the strikes over inside of Isfahan, down to the south, that's a big deal. And it's a very big deal for a reason. And it goes right along with everything else that I was telling you. Now, I'm not saying the Fox News maybe got a bad hint. Maybe Trump chickened out and was like, maybe I don't want to announce this tonight. Or maybe they just assumed because they know U.S. troops are going to be going in there eventually. You guys see these munitions cooking off and splashing into those mountainsides. Those aren't freaking 2,000 kilometer, medium range ballistic missiles. Those are very small munitions that are blasting and shooting off and cooking into the side. Okay, you guys see all of those things cooking off, and I have that up here for a reason, for a very, very good reason. Those are not like international threat, rockets or ballistic missiles that are shooting. Those are going to be short range. Those are going to be freaking rockets. Those are going to be things of that nature. They're actually cooking off and blowing up into that mountainside. It's very important. I do personally believe that sometime here in the near future, we're going to see increased strikes over at this location, all 20 kilometers of it. This is one tiny corner. And we're going to see some constant bombardment of this place and probably another one coming up here in a little bit. I can't ignore this one. Happy heavenly birthday to my wife, Pamela. 502. Gone for 8 years. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. Very sorry to hear that, but very happy and blessed that you had such a good wife. Cole Hubbard says, I think he was going to announce it, but something on the ground changed, and now the landing date is different. I think revolt first now. It could be. It could have changed. It could have changed. Fox McCloud, what's the word on the possible uprising? They haven't had one yet. The word on the possible uprising is they haven't had one yet. And the last thing that we actually heard about an uprising was, what's his name? The CENTCOM commander, Brad Cooper, coming out and saying, basically telling everybody to stand by. SRP Valkyrie says, Matt, great job as usual. Way off topic, but boots in Colombia, Peru with soft actions, and Ecuador pending, perhaps same groups being targeted in all three countries, U.S., Vet, XPAC, and Colonel. Okay. That's a solid question. I think the footprint is going to be small enough that whatever boots are on the ground are currently out there and you don't know about them. That's what I think. I actually think Colombia is a little bit different than Venezuela as well, because we have a semi-cooperative government over inside of Colombia. And if we're actually looking at cutting things off and really kind of like ending the circle, would be Colombia, because we have the money that's making its way and flowing out of Mexico. It's basically a circle. So Mexico to America, Venezuela to Mexico. Venezuela to America. Things get sold, money to Mexico, and then money from Mexico to Colombia. And then Colombia produces stuff, ships it to Venezuela. Venezuela sends it to the United States. Essentially is where it looks, Mexico and back. But now Colombia, right, is seeing what just happened in Mexico. I think what happened in Mexico was kind of a little bit of a wake-up call, right? And I think Colombia is going to be kind of looking at it and going, we don't really want that, and they're going to get on board. We've been working side by side with Colombians for a while. Colombia has been going after these cartels for a while. Obviously, Trump was not happy with where they were at, and I got a feeling that there was some talking tos that ended up taking place. So that's my opinion, sir. I don't think that we are going to be having a large scale operation anytime soon. And if we do, it's going to be clandestine in nature. And we're going to continue to put things like, boot to butt on the backside, and probably a lot of FID going into it to take care of that. And I think our main concern as we get into it, honestly, is this. It's this. And I think our main concern, also not just Iran, our main concern also looking at these other countries, right? Russia and China. We're working our way up the ladder, if you can't tell. Hezbollah is getting its butt taken out right now by Israel over inside Lebanon. Venezuela, we ripped Maduro out and allegedly have a favorable outcome there. Yemen, they're so dang scared over the last 2 days. Reportedly, the IRGC has been telling the Houthis that they want them to shut down the Red Sea, but they won't do it. And Iran's getting smashed. So all three of those targets I put up there have all been affected appropriately, which leaves Russia and China. And so if we're to go anywhere from here after this one, I would say it's Russia and China. So now I've got to do more digging and figure out what's, outside of Iran, what is the biggest influence that those two freaking knuckleheaded countries have. I see a lot of things about Cuba. You guys are always asking me about Cuba. I've got a very good feeling Cuba is going to sort itself out, and you guys aren't going to have to worry about that either. But it's the Russia, China, Iran, Hezbollah, Venezuela, Yemen. That's where I see it going. Castle Survival says, WDYT of S2 Underground on YouTube, Matt. What do you think of S2 Underground on YouTube? I haven't listened to them. Now, believe it or not, I don't. Number one, I don't like to have my opinion influenced. I like to be able to look at what's being put out there. I like to gather that information, analyze it, and give you my honest to God's assessment on it. If I was to listen to all of these other channels that are out there, if I was to listen to people on Twitter, or X or whatever the hell else it is, and all of your other experts, they're going to be telling you that the United States is going to go in and we're going to take Karg Island and we're going to take all of these other locations, right? Like for some reason they're not going to bring up Isfahan or anything like that. They're going to bring up Karg Island, down here. They're going to tell you that the U.S. should be opening the Strait of Hormuz. And the truth is, there's nothing the U.S. can really do about that aside from end the war to get the strait open, because all it takes is a single drone or a single cruise missile to shut down the strait. It's not that Iran has a blockade of ships across the Strait of Hormuz. It's that all they have to do is target a couple commercial vessels and it's shut down again, which is what they did. And they announced this morning that they were shutting it back down. The freaking IRGC came out, made an announcement, said absolutely not. We're not doing it. I mean, that's it. So what I try to do is I try to take and I try to say, this is what's going on the ground over inside of Iran. This is what U.S. assets are doing. We're moving another 18 A-10s over into the region that are currently over in the UK, might have left by now, over into the region. So A-10 Warthogs are coming in. Those are very good, very, very good for our troops on the ground when it comes to close air support, along with everything else. Raiding these islands, and striking and holding does absolutely no good. It does absolutely nothing. It's not going to open up the Strait of Hormuz or anything like that. Maybe we'll put some Marines on some ships to try to protect them, to pass them through, but that's going to be a very limited basis. In order for the strait to be open, you're talking like 100 ships plus per day that would be passing through the Strait of Hormuz. So that's where that goes. But to give you guys an idea, a couple days ago, I told you, let me switch it over so the map's not so busy. I told you guys, here we have Natanz up in the north and then Isfahan down here in the south. And these are the two main sites, okay, in which that uranium is being stored. And I told y'all, I believe that we have the appropriate amount of troops to take these facilities. That's what I think. But that is with the air support that we have and the shaping operations. I've gone on the news. I've spoke about it on Lord only knows how many freaking different news stations. I've been saying it for the last 2-3 weeks. This is what those troops are going in for, is to go deal with this. And when we start getting very close to that marker, troops start rising in the area. And then all of the sudden, we start having airstrikes taking place at key facilities within that region. That means we are getting ready to do what we need to do over there. So I thoroughly expect, I expect the United States to go in to at least Isfahan and frickin' Natanz. Right-wing nut says, hey, Matt, I know it's off subject, but are there any updates on the Jordan Gordeau story? Thanks, bro. No, I don't have any. I'm sorry. And you're right. It is totally off subject. Goodrow. Why can I not think of that? Goodrow? Yeah. Sorry. But yeah, Enforcer, everybody's got their own opinions. Everybody's got their own feelings on things. I'm here to give you mine. I'm here to tell you that I think that this is the next major operation that the U.S. is going to end up announcing. That's what I think. Again, Isfahan nuclear facility, you're looking about 15 kilometers away. If you guys ended up missing it earlier today when I was talking about this, the major strike that ended up taking place outside of there was right here. And everybody's like, whoa, look at it blowing up. Well, it's blowing up all day long because they ended up striking all of these freaking, not just, this area in the open, but these 9 to 12 freaking ammo storage facilities that are built up in these ridge lines. And they're shooting off and they're smacking into these mountains. All right. You guys saw it on that video a little bit ago. Earlier this week, okay, we ended up going over here, all right, south of Isfahan at this location. And we struck this facility right here, okay? And we took this place out. It's all one and the same. It's a massive installation, stretches about 20 kilometers. But here you have all of these other firing positions, and you have numerous ammo bunkers just like over there that are built in. right? And you guys can see them. They're all built the same way right here at the base of these ridgeline. Makes them very hard to target, very hard to destroy. All of these that are running down, right? All of these right here, you know, wrapping around. End up taking those out, getting rid of them. Why? Why would we get rid of those? Well, because our troops would be extremely vulnerable, you know, in the event of all of that crap happening. And then all the way down here, we end up taking this one out. What we haven't touched yet is these. And this is what, or at least from what I've seen, we haven't touched these. Here's another arrangement, all right, of bunkers, ammo storage bunkers, along with another cave complex that's down over there. We're going to have to take that out. And we're going to have to take out this one as well. Let me zoom way out. Here's another launch position that we haven't hit yet, to my knowledge. And there's more bunkers. That's going to have to get taken out. And just wait, there's more. All right. We're also going to have to take this out. Before we put boots on the ground, this is going to have to get taken out. Is that another dang tunnel entrance that I missed? It might be, or they're starting it, digging in. This is a couple months old. You got two massive tunnel entrances going into the mountains right there. Look at that. Two big old tunnel entrances going in right there. And another two, all the way down here going into these freaking monstrosities of mountains. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on. There we go. Going into these monstrosities of freaking mountains. Look at those things. So they're burying all of their ammunition and stuff very, very deep. And the reason it's a big deal, when we spin this sucker around, we look, you are 18 kilometers away from the Isfahan nuclear facility. And again, you have uranium, allegedly the bulk of the 60+% enriched, is supposed to be in the ground over here. Right? I've seen a couple different people throw some different, tunnel locations out there saying that it's here. But you got to remember there's centrifuges and everything else. This data is from, oh heck, man, when was it? October of 25. And you can see very clearly the amount of buildings that we ended up destroying back then. After we end up going through and doing what we have to do, we'll probably level that, and then we'll have to have people out there. But when you look at this region and you say, you know what, they have up to 80,000, all right, between this location and this location, up to 80,000 besieged forces, 80,000, besieged and IRGC forces. That's a lot of people. And the biggest worry is going to be the indirect fire mechanisms that Iran can employ. That is why we are seeing these shaping operations taking place, in my opinion, in a very large scale over here, because we have to take those out before we put those guys in. It's just a fact. We got to take them out. We got to get rid of it before we put anybody on the ground. They'll get slaughtered. It would be stupid. Now, other than that, the guys on the ground will do what guys on the ground do. Shots will be fired. People are going to die. And then you have good domination once you have a buffer space. Anybody that's coming down any of these main routes, they're going to end up getting freaking slaughtered by aircraft. It's just going to happen. We're going to have so much aircraft overhead. We're just going to own that to create a buffer space, keeping people out. Like any vehicle moving at night is probably going to end up getting schwacked. Any vehicle at all is going to end up getting schwacked. They're probably going to give a freaking warning to people, stay in your damn homes, or we're going to end up, killing you. Anybody on the street, like it's not going to be surprised at all if they get told that. So that's my take on it. Do I think they're going to load up the enriched uranium and freaking drive out with it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think what they're going to end up doing is I think they're going to end up going, you know what? Gather it all. If it's not all gathered in one place, and blow that crap up and then roll out. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on here. It's going to take a while. It's not going to be an overnight operation. It's going to take, if it is overnight, I'll be extremely, extremely shocked. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for me for this evening. I appreciate every single one of you guys coming in here. Believe it or not, the map recon that it took to map all of this stuff out took the vast majority of my day because I was like, nope, there's something bigger going on here. And most certainly there is. This is a massive, massive, massive IRGC facility that stretches about 20 kilometers. This thing north to south is greater than the distance of east to west to get to the nuclear facility. So north to south, this facility is greater in distance than it is to go from these firing positions over to the nuke facility, which is wild. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed everything. Don't forget to go over, grab your Bravo energy pouches, put yourselves in. 5 of you are going to get a year's supply. Make sure you guys are doing that. And in the meantime, ladies